When you think of the 7 heavenly virtues, there are 7 perfect candidates for each one of them. The most noticeable one being Gsty for the virtue of charity. Charity is described as the willingness or even desire to help make the world a better place, or to help people no matter what it means to themselves. Obviously, through his videos we could tell Gsty would be the perfect contender for this virtue, but what actually makes him the perfect person for this position? Well, at the very start of his channel, we could see that this is where the famous
"That's called a musty flick"
was invented. Although he wasn't giving away money like how Mr. Beast does, his desire to help the world was in the shape of tutorials. Obviously, he couldn't be blowing away thousands on a video since he just started out, so instead he did other charitable things such as tutorials on how to get better at the game and coaching. The thing that made him stand out amongst the crowd was his genuine passion for helping. His love for Rocket League and community paired up so well to the point where he finally published his first philanthropic video.
Today we're going to be trash talking Twitch streamers, then donating $5,000 to them.
In total, he actually gave away $1,000 to 5 different streamers, and their reactions say it all.
You can buy my coaching now, lol.
Oh my god.
Yo, I'll jump in the pool right now, dog. I'll jump in the pool.
No way! No. Is that fake? I think, okay, I feel sick. I gotta sit down.
This man's about to throw up, bro. It didn't show up on the screen though.
$1,000, don't, no.
Whatever he picks, I'm gonna send him the $100 amount of whatever he says.
7.
So he picked 7, so I'm giving him $700. So here we go.
Dude, I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah.
Gsty donated $700? What the f? You're actually kidding. Holy f***ing Gsty donate. What in the...
What the f? Musty!
Frown.
Musty. Dude, $1,000.
Okay, I see it over here. Oh my god, this man is awesome.
From this video onwards, he started posting these generous videos often, sprouting from just streamers to his own subscribers. But that was when the biggest and most tense battle occurred. On January the 1st, 2020, 2 of the most promising YouTubers started a race to the big 1 million subscribers, 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 and Sunless Khan, the most exciting battle that ever took place in the history of Rocket League. Everyone was talking about it. Both creators were showing how they were better, like how Sunless for some reason was giving away 10 Gsty cars.
So 5 of you can look, you see where I'm going with this? I also want to do a giveaway to current subscribers, so I'm giving away 5 more Lime Octanes and 20XX decals to you guys.
But of course Gsty had to one-up that and give away 11.
Even after the free promo, I'm still gonna have to one-up him by giving away 11 Gsty cards.
But out of nowhere, Gsty dropped this absolute bombshell.
I will give one of you guys $1,000. All you have to do is hit subscribe right now, fill out the Google form in the description, and you're set.
And that must have just done it, since in the end he won.
Oh my god, okay, boys. We just hit 1 million subscribers.
So many Gsty cars were given away, $1,000 was given away, and this only brought more kind-hearted videos. One of them including where he gave $50,000 to whoever could play Rocket League the longest, and that turned out to be $25,000 to both of the winners.
The money. Congratulations, you both just won $25,000.
And most recently when Gsty retired his own parents, which was definitely the most heartwarming thing I've seen in a while.
And 5 seconds to recap for us.
Oh, that's very nice.
Can you give me a hug?
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem, I love you.
Love you too.
I'm sorry, we're going through a hard time.
You too.
Not only is he still posting tutorials and pumping out more selfless content, but he has also invented 2 of the most used mechanics in the game, the Gsty flick and the speed flip. All of these reasons back up why he flawlessly resembles this virtue, but now we move on to the second heavenly virtue. Patience. Patience is described as having the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious, and it should be no surprise 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 is the ideal role model for this virtue. His touching story of how he won RLCS was truly motivational. He has been playing Rocket League since the very beginning, early 2016, and without knowing it, this would be the toughest journey of his life. When the very first RLCS took place, we see 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 on a team with Moses and Turtle under the name Team Exodus. They swept Mocha EU, but then later on got swept by Flipside Tactics, meaning the first run of RLCS had ended for 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 and his team had placed 6th. When Season 2 came round, 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗏 was still with the same teammates but under a new name, Orbit Esports. However, the name change would only lead to an upsetting downfall after getting reverse swept by Mocha EU.
Sweeps Orbit!
And then later on getting 3-1 to take 3.
And it's gonna hit the floor!
This meant that Orbit finished dead last, and everyone knew what was coming next. Season 3 was finally here, and NRG had picked up 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦 and added him alongside Jacob and Fireburner. They came into the tournament as the #1 team for NA. They swept Northern Gaming with ease. Won a close battle between Flipside Tactics. But then lost to Mockit. And finally got 4-1 by their eventual world champion, Northern Gaming.
Finally break their curse.
Season 4 was just another repeat of Season 2. They were punished early, firstly by Method, then by OCE Chiefs. 𝗟𝗜𝗡 had now lost 4 times consecutively and watched become the first person to win it twice, but he was determined, and we all saw it by this tweet: "Regardless of what happens, I'm not gonna stop until I get to lift that trophy." Because of the horrific last season performance, fan favourite Jacob was replaced by the almighty Justin, and this trio was unstoppable. NRG were the first team ever to finish undefeated in league play, though having undoubtedly the most potential and even the most exceptional goal in the history of Rocket League. It still wasn't enough to beat the powerhouse that was Dignitas. 𝗟𝗜𝗡 had now seen his enemy win the trophy he had been dreaming of holding 3 times and being 1 goal away from winning it. Almost everyone would have quit right about now, but we are talking about the virtue of patience here. Season 6 was here, and once again, NRG came out as the #1 seated in NA, but were quickly punished by their kryptonite, the OCE Chiefs.
Garrett, the Chiefs move on!
And then in the lower bracket were effortlessly crushed by the eventual world champions, Cloud9.
3 players crashing in the box, giving President the demolition made the way!
Once again, NRG came out as the #1 team for NA for Season 7. The format changed this season, meaning there were now group stages. NRG did great in their group, but got 3-1 by the eventual world champions.
And that's it! Vitality will move on to the semi-finals.
Sadly after this, 𝗟𝗜𝗡's longtime teammate Fireburner declared his retirement. Who was going to replace him, you may ask?
Champions, ladies and gentlemen.
The 8th season of RLCS Advanced, and 𝗟𝗜𝗡 is now the only person to attend every single LAN. Could his longtime enemy actually make him win in RLCS? Well, after the defending world champions had the toughest games against Dignitas the community has ever seen.
Round 2, K-Up for the win! Astral, back out to Astral, shots on target, points, shot with an opportunity to win it here in Game 6, it's not gonna happen. That's it! Astral, blocked, Balapanda up, he finds a shot! Back line, Balapanda's the last line of defense, he gets 1 play, here's K-Up, but he puts it high! Scoop with the follow-up, oh my goodness, very big shots in there, here's Scrum for the win! And the hold on, K-Up, can he do it? No! Power trying to slip it through defenders, and the dunk is there! He puts it over the edge,
They ended up winning and moving on to the grand finals, and of course, we all know how that went. 𝗟𝗜𝗡 was once again in the same place that he once was 3 seasons ago, but his patience finally paid off.
Justin! NRG do what they could not do before! Justin! Unbelievable! 4 years later, 8 seasons later, 2 grand finals later, it's all hands!
Not only does this prove how patient and determined he was, but he has also stayed on the same team for over 7 years now, and to prove his patience even more, during an interview with Grady Rains, this is what he had to say.
I've actually gotten a lot of flack for this tweet in the past, people memeing me and stuff like that, but it was, regardless of what I do, I'm not going to stop until I get to lift that trophy. I remember Season 4 was in Washington, D.C., and I remember the season before, it was me, Jacob, and Fiverr still, and we just got 3rd, and we did, that was the best I've ever done, easily, by far, and I was so motivated, and I was like, I'm going to win next season, that was the mindset going in, and we ended up getting last, so I was like completely heartbroken. I literally remember where I tweeted from. I was in a stairwell in the venue, and I went to the very top, and just sat there. I remember I was literally like crying a little bit by myself. I remember I was I was so upset, and I remember I tweeted that because I was like, I was so motivated.
This is more than enough evidence to why he is just the right fit for this virtue, and this now perfectly leads on to our next virtue, humility. Humility is described as being free of pride or arrogance, and having the sense of knowledge and greatness within them, without having to show it on the outside. And what person lives up to this virtue more than 𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡? Being the most successful Rocket League pro, having won 4 RLCS tournaments and around $450,000 in earnings, and never once has he boasted about it. He has proved it on some of the biggest stages, some of the greatest teams, and in the most intense situations. And yet he is so humble to the point where he hasn't gone on Twitter or Facebook and bragged about it. Unless you think having 4 times world champion in your bio is boasting, then yeah, maybe he isn't so humble. Although he hasn't won the most in earnings, he without a doubt has won the most prized thing every Rocket League fan dreams of, and he's done it 4 times. Even back in season 8 when he joined NRG for the season, he could have easily declined the offer, but I guarantee within his mind he wanted to make Garrett win the RLCS, and that is exactly what he did. What sets 𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡 apart is his genuine appreciation for his fans and fellow players.
Well, I'm used to doing this for 3 times now.
Whether it's taking the time to engage with his fans at events,
What has been your favorite RLCS moment? Has to be helping NRG win their first title. Season 8.
or showing respect to his opponents on the field.
But we didn't expect them to be that good. They were just one step ahead.
𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡's humility shines through in every interaction. In a game where ego often shines through even the greatest of players, and even some who know they aren't great,
I've had like professional lobbies.
Turbo remains grounded and embodies this virtue. In interviews, 𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡 deflects praise onto his teammates and emphasizes the importance of teamwork in his victories.
I feel like 𝗟𝗚𝗡 should have the MVP award, to be honest.
Well, you know what? You could do whatever it is you want to do with the MVP. If you want to give it to 𝗟𝗚𝗡, by all means, go ahead. Look at that. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Hey, you know what? Everyone is an MVP. So any words for Method, your opponents, but also for the fans as well, as this is your moment?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who was watching, cheering for everyone, not even us, every team. Playing Method in the grand final of RCS is actually amazing. They're great friends. I wish we had played Cloud9 as well, but things change.
He never seeks the spotlight for himself, but instead focuses on the collective efforts of his team.
It feels like a grand final. It's so intense to play against 𝗟𝗚𝗡 and favour and Scrub. It's absolutely insane every time we play against them. It's always a good match. I mean, I hope we see them in the finals because it's going to be a good match.
See, you want to play them again?
If we make the final.
Even in defeat, 𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡 maintains his composure and shows respect towards his opponents, acknowledging their skill and sportsmanship.
We know that Justin and Garrett is one of the fastest players in the game, if not like the fastest players. So we just knew we had to be one step ahead of them and be like one step away from the ball. So we can
try to be careful.
Yeah.
Due to all of these following reasons, he definitely resembles his virtue, and I think everyone else can agree. But now it's time for the upcoming virtue, Diligence. Diligence is portrayed as being consistent with what someone does, no matter what gets in their way, making sure they don't give up, and most commonly having a decisive work ethic. It's very clear that 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡 lives up to this virtue more than anyone. His most distinctive feature of why he fits this virtue is his consistent upload schedule. In fact, he is the most hard-working Rocket League content creator out of them all, considering the fact that he has been posting daily for over 4 years. If you know anything about Rocket League and even YouTube as a whole, you know how hard it is to come up with entertaining and informative content, and this man has been doing it for almost half a decade. Most Rocket League content creators upload weekly, including myself, and some even longer, but that's not all. He has made endless amounts of Rocket League maps, and I genuinely mean endless, like this page goes on forever. To further prove the amount of impact he has on the Rocket League community, his Rings collection of Rocket League maps are some of the most popular and most downloaded in the entirety of the game. Additionally, he also has a second YouTube channel, where even though he doesn't upload as frequently as his main channel, or even play Rocket League as his main game, he still uploads at a rate which is better than almost all other content creators. If you think that was all, think again, as he was once also a Rocket League professional player and coach. So he's pretty much done everything in the game if you think about it, and you have to give him credit. I mean, he has made some decent earnings. Linking back to this virtue, he perfectly represents why he should be fit for this role, and he didn't let anything stop him from consistently uploading for 4 4+ years straight. Not only that, but managing to become a Rocket League pro as it is already shows you how dedicated and hardworking he must be. And the fact that he's made an abundance of Rocket League maps all go to show why he's the best representative for this virtue. His diligence is the reason he is so successful to this day, with over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and also being loved by the whole Rocket League fanbase. But now it is time we move on to a more uplifting virtue, chastity. Chastity, also known as purity, means to refrain from any sexual activity before marriage or altogether. Another layer of this is having a partner that will always find a way to support you. And what two people show that best more than Athena and Rizzo? Of course, there are also the couples that have the Rocket engaged tags, but the people who obviously stick out the most for this virtue is Athena and Rizzo. Not even just in Rocket League, but rather in the whole world, where lust, temptation, and desire often consumes everyone and everywhere. We have two individuals who embrace the virtue and strive away from all that degeneracy. Their commitment to this virtue stands as a beacon of inspiration. Chastity is not merely about abstaining from physical intimacy, but it's a virtue that encompasses purity of heart, mind, and action. Both Athena and Rizzo exemplify this in their daily lives, prioritizing self-discipline and integrity in all that they do. There are many instances where this is emphasized. Like in the video where Rizzo announces he is getting married, we get to hear his loving and passionate story of how he proposed to Athena.
We went all the way to Italy. I'll be honest, there's no way she didn't think something was up. I'm not just gonna randomly plan a trip to Italy, you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. This is where your boy makes his move. I had a puffer jacket, so I had the ring inside the puffer jacket in the zipper, and then somebody called me over, one of the waiters. He's like, hey, can I help you with anything? And I was like, oh, yeah. Listen, buddy, you remember that garden we went through on the tour? Do you think I can get like 10 minutes? Like, can you guys open the gate for like 10 minutes? And I showed him. He's like, oh yeah, I'll see what I can do. And then I came back out, and the same waiter was there, just waiting for me. He goes, this is the only time I give it to you. And the dude actually handed me the keys to the monastery. The monastery, where the monks are. And so I could open the gate to the garden with the keys. And I was just like, all right. Let's wait. And I was like, come on, let's go for a walk. And she's like, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure like our driver, let's go for a walk. It's like, look at this. Boom, the keys to the garden. Are you serious? And I walked over like this. Come with me, babe. Plopped down. Plopped, what did I say? Plopped. Then I got down on one knee and I was like, yeah, will you marry me, Pog? Will you be my Pog champ? And yeah, and then she said yeah. And it was...
And also near to the start, he defends his relationship heavily when this donation message popped up.
Do you get the Rockets engaged title? I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, bro. A Rocket League title is the last thing on my list.
Then there were also all of the other videos where they are together and their wholesome moments together.
You just don't support women. You don't support women. That's crazy. No, it's you. You're saying I have a mustache. Oh!
Anytime we can see them simultaneously, there is no immorality between them. It just goes to show how much they resemble this trait. They are always supporting each other no matter what is going on with either one of their lives, and they are not afraid to show it either. This duo beautifully describes why they are the greatest fit for chastity, but now we move on to the penultimate virtue, temperance. Temperance is the act of having self-discipline and avoiding any excess amount of desires, emotions, and attitude. And it should be to no one's surprise as to why Squishy Muffins is the ultimate representative for this virtue. From when Rocket League was first released up until now, he has always kept the same attribute, which is having the control over his emotions. For the majority of people, even outside of Rocket League, it is extremely difficult for them to be able to use their emotions correctly, and we have a perfect role model who we can look up to on how it should be done. A prime example of how his temperance was used flawlessly was when he hit his best shot, and when the birth of the ceiling shot finally happened. The amount of pressure from the crowd and other players, the pure skill and precision that was needed to perform the shot, and how talented the players already were all reasons as to why he should have been trembling and nervous. But the virtue of temperance knows how to fully go against those odds.
Line in game 3. Cloud9 unable to take it to Squishy now with a daily shot. He puts it.
This shot alone made the opponents realize how calm and collected he was, and most likely had them fear what else Squishy had up his sleeve. His temperance even helped him manage to win Season 6 of RLCS, when he was in his prime along with Torment and Gimmick. On the first day of the tournament, Cloud9 were up against We Dem Girls. Both teams were performing excellent, however, even though Cloud9 had a ton of fight in them, they ended up losing to them in Game 7 overtime. But throughout that whole series, we saw how focused, serene, and controlled Squishy was, as well as his other teammates. Because of the defeat, they now had to fight for their lives in the lower bracket, which is exactly what they did. One loss wasn't going to discourage them, and we saw how how locked in they were after sweeping Tainted Minds like it was nothing. Although they beat this team effortlessly, the next game wouldn't be so easy, as they were facing up against NRG, and here we see two of the strongest teams battle it out for their spot in day 3.
As that one slides over his head, not sure how that one got through. Boosted out of rotation, Gimmick destroyed, might actually help Cloud9. Here's Firebird coming up, drops it in! Cloud9, it forces NRG to have good offense. Gimmick and saved by Justin, follow through, make it 2! Energy yet to score, Justin underneath. There's one. Nice shot from Garrett. Challenges from both teams. They run into each other in the open net. Torment can't capitalize. Justin, and that is not good. Stalls it, but Garrett G can't.
Throughout all 4 games, it was looking dead even. Cloud9 won the first game, then NRG won the next. NRG won the 3rd game, but Cloud9 got their revenge. In the end, they went to game 5, and of course it had to be in overtime.
Justin drops it down on the goal line, overtime in game 5.
But this is where we see Cloud9's full potential. A goal line demo allowed them to proceed into day 3, which is where they face up against the Chiefs. And Cloud9 must have changed up their tactics since they destroyed them 3-1. Still fighting for their lives in the lower bracket, they got up against flipside tactics. And even though it was insanely tough for Cloud9, they ultimately managed to get 2 goals and win their game.
He's done it! 2 goals, 7 seconds left. They've done it. Cloud9 moves on.
They were now onto the grand finals, and this is where we see how dominant the team really was. Dignitas is by no means a bad team, but Cloud9 was without a doubt 10 times better. Throughout the whole series, Cloud9 only dropped 1 game, and Dignitas ended up getting 4-1.
To do the unthinkable! They've done it! Cloud9 dethrones the Kings of Rocket League!
Even though Squishy Muffins didn't get MVP, we saw throughout every single game, every single series, and every single day how nonchalant he was. Even today, his streams are very chill, and everyone clearly knows how temperate he really is. Nonetheless, it is time to move on to the last but definitely not least virtue, kindness. Kindness is self-explanatory, but it is the quality of being generous, friendly, and considerate. There isn't so much as one specific Rocket League content creator or professional player who 100% resembles this, as almost every single player can at times be a bit unsportsmanlike. However, one person who acts like this 99% of the time is Johnny Boy. The whole Rocket League audience appreciates his amazing commentary, and bear in mind he has been commentating 1v1 show matches and other minor matches since the beginning of the game. His most visible series of commentating is the Salt Mines. His reputation has managed to get him around 400,000 followers and subscribers on both Twitch and YouTube. This virtue was all up in the air for everyone, but Johnny Boy ended up getting it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This was my first time doing a video like this, and also I spent a ton of time on this. I'm pretty sure I spent around 60 hours. I was super inefficient at the start, but I started locking in for editing nearer to the end. If you did enjoy, make sure you go down below and smash that like and subscribe button. It helped me out a ton, and my hard-earned editing would have gone to good use. But that's all I've got to say, and apart from that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye! Hulk smash!